So welcome back again. We are into discussing the 2019 NEET paper. We have seen first 10 questions in our first segment, first part of the discussion. And in the second part, what do we see is we'll continue the discussion starting with question number 11. You see that here. So identify the cells whose secretion protects the lining of gastrointestinal tract from various enzymes. Yes, various enzymes. So that is the question. So you need to be identifying all these cells. Oxyntic cells. Oxyntic cells are the parietal cells, and we have this duodenal cells and chief cells, goblet cells. What are all of these cells? And if you see these oxyntic cells, right? Oxyntic cells is also sorry, not this option. So oxyntic cells. So these oxyntic cells, you know, they're also called as the parietal cells. Oxyntic cells is also called as the parietal cells. What do they secrete? They secrete the HCl, hydrochloric acid in the stomach, and as well intrinsic factor. Intrinsic factor. So what is the function of this intrinsic factor? So this is for the absorption of vitamin C. Yes, absorption of vitamin B12. Absorption of vitamin B12. So that is the function of the parietal cells. Parietal cells are the oxyntic cells which secrete the HCl into the stomach, and also they secrete the intrinsic factor. This intrinsic factor is essential for the absorption of the vitamin B12. That is the function of oxyntic cells. What about duodenal cells? Duodenal cells, the cells which are present in the duodenum are actually, if you see, the Brunner's glands, right? Brunner's glands, which are present in the submucosa of duodenum, which secrete the mucus. Right, we secrete the mucus. We are not concerned about these cells now. Chief cells are the peptic cells. Chief cells are the peptic cells. What do these peptic cells will secrete? Is they secrete the enzymes that is pepsinogen and prorenin, right? Pepsinogen and prorenin. So that is the function of the chief cells. Peptic are chief cells, and the goblet cells. So these are the predominant cells in the GI tract which secrete the mucus. Right, goblet cells which are present in the gastrointestinal tract. These secrete the mucus. So what is the difference here is these duodenal cells are rather Brunner's glands only present in the duodenum region, but the goblet cells are present throughout the length of the alimentary canal, and particularly in the stomach. Particularly in the stomach, these goblet cells are modified into the cells called as neck cells. Right, these cells called as neck cells, which also will secrete the mucus. Right? So based on this, our correct choice now will be the D, goblet cells, right? The mucus secreting cells. So this has been clearly given in the NCERT book. The mucus secreting cells of the GI tract are the neck cells in the stomach and goblet cells in the mucosal epithelium. That means in the mucosal epithelium throughout the length of the alimentary canal, you would see the goblet cells. Yes, so that is the answer for question number 11. And as I have explained before, so understanding the question in entirety is very important. When you do objective questions, you got to be understanding the question in entirety. So when you do that, you have high chance of being successful in the NEET medical exam. Now, what would be the heart rate of a person if the cardiac output is 5 liters? So what is cardiac output? The cardiac output is, so how much of the heart, how much of the blood is pumped by heart in a minute? In a minute is the cardiac output. In human beings, what is the cardiac output? The cardiac output is, the stroke value. The stroke volume in normal, in general, right? The stroke volume is 70 ml, right? 70 ml in human beings. How many times the heart beats? The heart beats for 72 times in a minute. So 72 times in a minute. So approximately you get 5040 ml in a normal situation if you have the stroke volume 70 ml. Okay, so that is in a normal situation. So what have they given here? So blood volume in the ventricles at the end of diastole, at the end of diastole is 100 ml, right? In the ventricles we have 100 ml, and at the ventricular systole it is 50 ml. So this is the stroke volume, right? So when the systole, how much of the blood is being pumped out into the respective greater arteries. So we have this pulmonary artery, and then we have this aorta. So how much of the blood is being pumped? So they are saying the stroke volume is 50 ml. So if you identify that, it will be easy for you. So 50 ml, right? So how many times the heart needs to beat? So if it beats for 100 times, right? If it beats for 100 times, you're going to be getting obviously 5 liters, 5,000 ml. So based on this, we can clearly see 5,000 ml. So we got the answer here. If it is 125, it's going to be much more. So that cannot be your answer, right? That cannot be your answer. And even if it is less than that, even if it is less than that, that also is not sufficient amount of blood. You will not reach the 5 liters or the 5,000 ml of the quantity. So they have given 50 here, so which will be insufficient number of beats, and 75 also will be insufficient number of beats. So that is why a 100 ml. You can see that here the stroke volume is given as 50 ml and heart rate is 100. So you are getting 5,000 ml of the value. Now, tidal volume is 500 ml normally, and expiratory reserve volume is somewhere around 1000 to 1100 ml. You know, uh, so this one they have given here is for an athlete. Tidal volume and expiratory reserve volume of an athlete is 500 ml, 500 ml and 1000 ml respectively. What will be his expiratory capacity if the residual volume is 1200 ml? Yes, the residual volume is 1200 ml. If you see that here, you know, the residual volume is the volume of air that is always there in the lungs, so that the lungs will not collapse. Yes, that is the volume. But since they have asked the expiratory capacity, right? Since they have asked the expiratory capacity, when I take up the expiratory capacity, that is EC, expiratory capacity, that is EC. IC is inspiratory capacity. EC is TV plus ERV, right? Inspiratory capacity plus, that is tidal volume plus expiratory reserve volume. So what is the tidal volume here? Just 500 ml plus what is the expiratory reserve volume? Expiratory reserve volume is given as 1000, right? So how much you have got? You have got 1500 ml. Easy, right? So option C will be our correct choice for us. Expiratory capacity, if you remember, that will be TV plus ERV. So that you have got 1500 ml. So I have given where do you find these answers in NCERT books, directly given from the NCERT. Now, which of the following methods is the most suitable for disposal of nuclear waste? So this is also a direct question that has been taken from environmental issues. Environmental issues chapter that we have, from where this question has been asked. Now, so what is the best method? Dump the waste within the rocks under deep ocean, right? So we cannot just dump it, so there will be radiation leakage however deep the oceans are there. We cannot just dump it. And if you are dumping it within rocks in the deep ocean without any containment, the underwater organisms might severely get affected. So that we should not be doing it. And bury the waste within the rocks deep below the Earth surface. Deep below that surface, this is half a kilometer, that is 500 meters deep below. In the sealed containers you got to be doing it, and shoot the waste into the space. No, it should not be the right choice. Bury the waste under Antarctic ice cover, right? So the ice cover is itself is so deep, there is no choice to dig that much of ice as well. No, this is a direct question which has been given in NCRT. So you need to be burying it within rocks deep below Earth's surface. So now it has been recommended that the storage of nuclear waste after sufficient pre-treatment should be done in suitably shielded containers, suitably uh, shielded containers buried within the rocks about 500 meters deep below the Earth's surface. Yes, so this is the direct line which has been given for us. Yes, so your right choice will be B. Select the incorrect statement among the given statements. So inbreeding selects harmful harmful recessive genes that reduce the fertility and productivity. Inbreeding eliminates the recessive genes. We do not want these recessive genes, it will be eliminated. It doesn't select. And inbreeding helps in the accumulation of superior genes. So harmful genes will be eliminated so that the superior genes will be selected, and elimination of undesirable genes. Undesirable genes is the recessive genes, right? Recessive genes we do not want them, so this will be eliminated and it will not be selected. What will be selected is the superior genes will be selected. Yes, so that is the case. So this will be a correct statement. And inbreeding increases the homozygosity. Yes, this is also obviously correct one, because we are selecting the animals which are superior and which look alike most of the time, right? So that is why, as a result of that, the resultant offspring also will be homozygous. So inbreeding increases the homozygosity, and inbreeding is essential to evolve the pure lines in any animal. So this is also a correct statement. You get the pure lines. So among these, the first one is the incorrect one. Yes, so why it is incorrect is, so inbreeding doesn't select the harmful genes, it eliminates them. So here, option A. So this is also a direct question in a paragraph of NCERT. We'll just go through it so for your benefit. So inbreeding. Inbreeding increases the homozygosity. A direct line here that is there. Yes, increases the homozygosity. Thus, inbreeding is necessary if you want to evolve a pure line in any animal. Yes, and inbreeding exposes harmful recessive genes that are eliminated by selection. So they said they are selected, right? But no, they are eliminated. They are not selected, right? And it helps in accumulation of superior genes and elimination of less desirable genes, which is also a correct statement. Therefore, this approach, where the selection in each step increases the productivity of inbreeding population. Yes, however, continued inbreeding, especially close breeding, usually reduces fertility and even productivity. This is called as inbreeding depression. So this one is also very important for the examination. Please go through your animal husbandry lesson in NCRT. Yes, animal husbandry lesson in NCRT, and you got to be studying it completely. So you will have a question on that. Inbreeding depression. What is this inbreeding depression? Is how would you avoid it? How would you avoid it? By mating with the next breed, are the group of animals where there is no inbreeding for at least 4 to 6 generations. Then the depression can be avoided. So that is, please go through this lesson in your NCERT book. I haven't included the entire page because that will be insufficient for this question. Now, which of the following immune response is responsible for rejection of kidney graft? Kidney graft here is, so this is a transplantation. All the grafts relates to the transplantation. We are speaking about the kidney transplantation. So when there is a kidney transplantation, which part of the immune system will reject this transplanted kidney is the question, right? So here, so which part of the immune system is, so is it inflammatory immune response and cell mediated immune response, autoimmune response, and humoral immune response? Humoral immune response deals with the antibodies. Yes, so so it's not the right choice. Autoimmune response, so autoimmune response is immune system attacking its own cells, but in here kidney is not auto cell, it's allo. Means it has been brought from outside, so it is foreign cell, so it cannot be right choice. Inflammatory, so whenever there is an immune reaction, there will be inflammation. So there is allergy can be an inflammatory response. Allergy not necessarily rejecting the organ, and it's a reaction. It's a reaction that is there. And cell mediated immune response is our right choice. It's a direct question, that direct line from the NCERT has been taken up. So here the solution can be seen in class 12 of 152 page, class 12 of NCERT, that is human health and disease, where immunity portion is there, where you see the graph transplantations. You see the answer there, that is cell mediated immune response. And what is the genetic disorder in which an individual has an overall masculine development and gynecomastia and is sterile? We all know this, right? So masculine development is overall male development, and this male also develops the breast, that is gynecomastia, and he is sterile. So this condition is called as Klinefelter syndrome. So in this condition, what is the chromosome number is? So here the sex chromosomes in the males, right? 44 plus XXY condition will be there. XXY condition will be there. As a result of that, you'll have uh, you'll have the both masculine development and as well as the feminine development. Feminine development because of the additional X that is there. Klinefelter syndrome. Gynecomastia is the development of the breast. Now, so you can see that here the genetic disorder is caused by is caused due to presence of additional copy of X chromosome. Just now we have seen that is 47 plus XXY. Such an individual has overall masculine development because he has the Y. That is why he has the overall masculine development. However, the feminine development of breast gynecomastia is also expressed. Such individuals are sterile individuals. They will not be able to produce any offspring. Okay, which of the following is the most important cause for animals and plants being driven to extinction? Driven to extinction is economic exploitation, alien species invention, habitat loss and fragmentation, and droughts and floods. So we have four of them, right? So one is habitat loss and fragmentation, which is the primary one, and alien species invasion, and then there are co-extinctions. Co-extinctions also is the cause, but among all of these, habitat loss and fragmentation is the leading cause. Is the leading cause of the animals being driven into extinction. You would see this in biodiversity lesson, where we have evil quartet, where four leading causes, that is habitat loss and fragmentation, alien species invention, and war exploitation and co-extinctions, right? So you need to remember this quartet evil quartet quartet, that is four causes. That is the evil quartet. What are these four causes? One is habitat loss and fragmentation. Habitat loss and fragmentation. What is the next one? The next one that we have is over exploitation. So in the over exploitation, we have some beautiful examples which are important for the exam. You need to be remembering all of them, such as passenger pigeon, stellar seacow, and all of those. Over exploitation and alien species invention. Alien species. So here also you need to remember the catfish, Clarius. Alien species invasion, right? So if you introduce the alien species into native species, and native species will be affected. And co-extinctions. So these are the four reasons are evil quartet, where the species will be lost from an habitat. Among these, the leading one will be habitat loss and fragmentation that is happening. Now, the next one. So, which of the following contraceptive methods do involve a role of hormone? Role of hormone. So, which one will have the role of hormone? You need to be seeing there is, CUT. So, this has been ruled out because this involves the caprions, not the hormones. Pills and emergency contraceptives will have the hormones, and then we have the pills, emergency contraceptives, and barrier methods. So these two are correct, but barrier methods doesn't have any hormones. It simply are the barriers. And lactational amenorrhea, pills and emergency contraceptives, this can be considered. And barrier method again, so this has been ruled out. Among these given options, so this will be your right choice. Lactational amenorrhea, primarily deals with absence of menstruation because of the hormones. What hormones? Primarily the prolactin hormone. So in this prolactin hormone, because of this prolactin, there will be no menstruation. There will be no menstruation. Since there is involvement of hormone here, and there is pills also, there are hormones, that is estrogen and progesterone combinations, or just progesterone alone. And emergency contraceptives also contain this estrogen progesterone combinations. Yes, so that is the C is your right choice in the given options. Yes, you can see that here. In lactational amenorrhea, due to high levels of prolactin level, gonadotropin level decreases, and oral pills or progesterone are the progesterone estrogen combinations used by the females. And emergency contraceptives includes the administration of progestrogens and progesterone estrogen combinations or IUDs within the 72 hours of coitus. So the third one will be your right choice. Now, consider the following statements, that is organ system level of organization, bilateral symmetry, and true coelomates with segmentation of the body. And where do you see this condition? So true coelomates, segmentation of the body, and you need to be seeing all these options. Arthropoda, so we have the segmentation, and mollusca don't have the segmentation, so it has been ruled out. Annelida, we have the segmentation, again mollusca, no, it has been ruled out. And Annelida, Arthropoda, and Chordata. Do we have the segmentation in all of these? So we'll consider this and we'll wait for the fourth option. Annelida, Arthropoda, and again mollusca. So in all these, mollusca is there where there is no segmentation. You can go for this. So Annelida, Arthropoda has the segmentation, and they do have the organ system level of organization and the bilateral symmetry. Chordata, we don't have any external segmentation, but you do see the internal segmentation. So that is why among the given options, so option C will be the right choice for us. Okay, so with this we'll end the part 2 of the discussion, and please do subscribe, and please give your feedback. Hopefully I'm as clear as I can get with these discussions. Okay, I'll be ending this part here. Thank you.